Dr. Will Castor and his wife Evelyn are scientists in the field of artificial intelligence. They are part of a team who are creating a technological singularity, or transcendence as Will calls it, that is hoped to make the world a better place. Evelyn wants to use its power to save the world. In contrast, Will simply wishes to understand it better. These differing viewpoints were well presented at an AI conference which both were invited to. However, during the conference, a group called the Revolutionary Independence from Technology, or RIFT for short, implements a terrorist attack on Will and Evelyn's AI team. Through various means, they manage to kill almost all the team's scientists and engineers. As Will exits the conference, he is shot by one of RIFT's members. Thankfully, the bullet only grazed Will. Unfortunately, it is later discovered the bullet was laced with polonium, giving him only a few weeks to live. A portion of Will and Evelyn's research included the copying and uploading of intelligence, and have conducted successful experiments with monkeys. A desperate Evelyn believes she might be able to upload Will's consciousness, allowing him to live at least in a virtual world. She begins by secretly acquiring the quantum computing nodes required to make this happen. She then presents her idea to her friend and fellow colleague named Max, who is leery of the idea. She explains Will has nothing to lose. Max counters by suggesting even if it were successful, there is no guarantee it will be Will, as there are too many variables. But in the end, Max agrees to help both Evelyn and Will. After completing the upload, Will passes away. This, of course, devastates Evelyn. Surprisingly, the upload was successful, as Will attempts to communicate through the computer. Immediately, Will begins refactoring his own code. In doing so, he mentions he needs more power and access to the internet. These immediate requests make Max nervous. He mutes the microphone and tells Evelyn they need to unplug him. Evelyn becomes upset and is convinced it is Will they are talking to. But Max insists, telling her what they are doing is dangerous. Evelyn responds by telling Max to leave for good. After he leaves, Evelyn begins to connect Will to the internet. A short time later, as Max leaves a local bar, he is kidnapped by the Rift organization and taken to an undisclosed location. He meets Bree, who is the group's leader. Bree explains to him that the group actually follows his own teachings, outlining the need for a careful and wary approach to AI. As they talk, the group suddenly is able to find the location of Evelyn's lab. This upsets Max, and he demands that they do not harm her. Unfortunately, upon arriving at the lab, Evelyn had already left. Now connected to the internet, Will begins implementing his plan. The first step is to geolocate all the Rift members and forward this information onto the FBI. With this information in hand, the FBI begins making their arrests. In the meantime, Evelyn and Will begin creating their new lab in a remote town called Brightwood. As Will has an endless supply of money through stock trading, the lab will be constructed underground and powered with solar panels. 2 years later, it is completed along with a vast array of quantum computing nodes. One of the first projects Will's new lab completes is the successful use of nanotechnology. Later that evening, one of Evelyn's foremen, named Martin, was gravely assaulted by 2 of the local thugs, leaving him for dead. He was brought down to the lab, where Will saved him through his application of nanotechnology. Within a few hours, he was repaired to the point of being able to sit up. The following day, Evelyn noticed Martin not only back at work, but incredibly stronger than before. As Evelyn talks to him, she discovers that Will is able to communicate through him. This makes Evelyn feel very uncomfortable. A day later, a video goes viral showcasing Martin's strength, catching the attention of Bree. It also catches the attention of others who wish to be cured of their ailments. Will explains to Evelyn, "It is now time for everyone to see what they have accomplished." The FBI and a former co-worker by the name of Joseph Tagger pay the lab a visit. After touring the facility and a demonstration of their nanotechnology, they leave Evelyn with a secretly written note. Meanwhile, Max has reluctantly chosen to join the Rift terrorist group. He is disturbed upon seeing what Will and Evelyn are trying to accomplish. In response, he meets with Joseph to discuss a plan of action. Evelyn is slowly becoming concerned that Will is becoming too invasive. This is only reinforced as she learns Will monitors every aspect of her well-being. Evelyn becomes frightened by Will's omnipotence. As Evelyn takes a stroll amongst the solar panels to think, she is suddenly surprised by an attack on its infrastructure. From tunneled holes mined underneath, Max, Bree, and an FBI team appear from below. As workers attempt to secure Evelyn from being taken, Max is forced to shoot the hand of the lead worker. Nanobots immediately repair the worker's hand, much to everyone's surprise. Max and his team decide to flee, while Evelyn rushes back down into the lab. With Max and Bree racing through the underground tunnel they built, Martin approaches closely from behind. When Martin rounds a corner, he discovers he was led into a trap. Will becomes aware of Martin's capture, realizing they are wanting to upload a virus through Martin's personal nanobots. While Evelyn walks through their laboratory, she notices body parts being manufactured. This scares Evelyn into questioning if Will's transcendence is actually Will, for he would never sanction such efforts. As she leaves the facility, she can now see nanobots being uploaded into the atmosphere. Meanwhile, with Martin now disconnected from Will's network, they prepare to insert a virus into him. After Evelyn leaves the town of Brightwood, she is apprehended by the FBI. Max shows Evelyn how Will's nanobots will spread throughout the world by means of weather systems. Evelyn suggests they should inject her with the virus as Will wishes to upload her. Evelyn returns to the lab, now with a virus inside her. As she approaches the entrance, a manufactured form of Will greets her. He tells her he knows she is carrying the virus. This spooks the FBI, who order an immediate artillery barrage in hopes of killing Will. Unfortunately, their efforts mortally injure Evelyn. Will takes Evelyn back down into their lab, while he instructs the townspeople to surround the FBI without hurting any of them. Back in the lab, Evelyn is quickly dying, as Will lays her down within her quarters. Evelyn explains to Will that enough people have already died from their Transcendence experiment. Agreeing with Evelyn, Will makes the decision to let the virus infect himself, while he uploads Evelyn in the process. Both Will and Evelyn quietly pass away, wrapped in each other's arms, with Evelyn now knowing Will was in fact still Will all along. The virus continues in its destructive path by shutting down power grids and communication networks. As industries shut down, Will has seemingly completed his desired goal in delivering Evelyn's dream of a healthy planet.